Hey, it's Tuxedo Mark. It's 8:43 p.m. on Thursday, July 15, 2021. All right, so I just read the fifth chapter of the Super S manga, the Dream Arc manga. It's called Act 5 Venus Dream. Hey, random cactus. And then I watched the corresponding portion of the Eternal movie, um, first in Japanese and then in English. Uh, and what's interesting is the manga chapter is like 50 pages long, somewhere around there. Yeah. And takes about 10 minutes in the movie. And not much was even cut out. So, yeah. Um, basically, so as you can tell from the title, this chapter focuses on Minako or Sailor Venus, except that a bunch of pages in the chapter are actually devoted to exposition from Helios, explaining who he is. He's a priest of Elysion, which is like, he describes it as a sacred land inside the earth. And he calls it like the heart of the planet. And he's bound to that land, and he's bound to Mamoru, he's bound to the earth itself, and all four of them are bound together. Um, Prince, aka Mamoru, has no idea who he is. But anyway, no, they're bound together. All right. So, and he talks about how, like, the White Moon Kingdom, where, Usagi is originally from in her previous life, they had sealed away the dead moon, which exists in the darkness of the new moon or whatever. But because the Silver Millennium, the Moon Kingdom, it no longer exists, so the power has waned, and the dead moon has been able to break free during the recent solar eclipse. Um, so that all that exposition takes up around 4 minutes of screen time. So there's 7 minutes left for Minako's story from the manga. That takes up 7 minutes, and that's where the story ends. Basically, this chapter takes up, it starts around the 1 hour and 1 minute mark of the movie and goes to the 1 hour and 11 minute mark. But then after that, there's about 10 minutes worth running time left, almost. And I'm guessing at least part of that's going to be the ending credits, but some of it will obviously, I guess, be part of the next act from the manga, I assume, because Act 5 of the manga ends on a cliffhanger. Maybe they didn't want to end the movie at that spot, so they continued on for a few more minutes. I don't know. But basically, Minako is upset that she can't transform, and she hasn't told the others yet. Although her cat Artemis knows, but she hasn't told the other girls. She's still trying to do the Venus planet power, and nothing happens. In fact, there's a really kind of a weird scene where she's walking along the street, and she starts looking all around, make sure no one's around. Just a few seconds after a crowd of people passed her. But she's like, and then once she's made sure that no one's around, She screams at the top of her lungs, Venus planet power makeup. Yeah, that's not going to draw any attention. Um, why did you bother trying to see if no one was looking if you were just going to scream out your transformation phrase? But nothing happens anyway. Um, so she's upset and she's depressed about it. Artemis tries to cheer her up. We see inside Minako's house, and yeah, she lives in a house. I don't remember the original cartoons, the original anime series from the 90s, if she lived in a house there too. I know Usagi does, and it's kind of unusual in Japan to, you have to be like really well off to live in a house. Otherwise, you usually live in an apartment. Um, but anyway, Artemis suggests, or Minako wants to take a bath, and Artemis says, you know, you're growing into a beautiful woman, keep it up, or something. He gets kind of like pervy, a bit more so in the manga because apparently Luna has to bite his tail to try to prevent him from sneaking peeks at Minako. They cut that bit out of the movie, but anyway, there's a flyer for like a talent audition at like Dead Moon Agency or whatever. It's an obvious trap, but Minako wants to. She wants to go there and see what's up, and kind of like infiltrate the bad guys or whatever, just to try to prove that she's a good leader. Um, because she had actually gone off on the other Senshi minus Usagi, uh, because they kept mentioning Haruka and Michiru and wishing they were around so they could help them. Hi, Bonnie. And Minako is apparently sick of that. Oh, and apparently Michiru had let Chibiusa borrow her mirror, and then Ray borrowed it from Chibiusa. Um, so that's a bit odd. But oh, and regarding the character name pronunciations, again, in the English dub, Ray says Michiru, but then like the others are talking about the other hour section, they say Setsuna. Yeah, Ami says Setsuna, and someone else says, I think Mako says, or Makoto says Haruka. So for those two, they're putting the stress on the first syllable, but Ray puts the stress for Michiru on the second syllable. I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason to how these names are pronounced. I'll have to try to listen to the Japanese audio carefully and see how they pronounce it. But also I think Ray's English voice actor might have misspoke because it sounded like she was saying Michuru instead of Michiru. Anyway, uh, could just be a slight typo in the English dub script. I mean, U is right next to I on the keyboard, so who knows? um, but anyway, so Mina is in this town show. Oh, and by the way, I didn't really pay attention if they say this in the Japanese, but in the English dub at least. Oh, hey, Arrow or it. In the English dub at least, they call Minako Mina repeatedly. They call her Mina. And that is her old English dub name from the DiC days from the mid 90s. So I found that kind of neat. Mina, I guess short for Minako in this case, but um, yeah, I found that kind of interesting. Um, so all these girls are gathered. It's just girls, by the way, which is kind of odd. But whoever wins is supposed to get like a big cash prize and become a star to get like movie and TV deals and an album deal and stuff like that. So all these women have shown up, maybe girls too, I don't know. Artemis has advised Minako against coming there because she can't transform, but Minako wants to do it anyway. So apparently there's some kind of competition. It's like a jungle themed survival type of thing. They have to whoever climbs to the top of a tower and rescues some kids that are sitting on top of it wins. So all these ladies keep fighting each other and strangling and punching each other and probably trampling over each other to be the first one to get there. Oh, and I don't remember all of what happens, but eventually, no doing the stuff on your own anymore. They kind of chastise her for trying to go off on her own. Anyway, Minako reaches the top, and turns out the kids aren't even real. But Minako's trapped and held in place, and she's brainwashed to, I think, give the dead moon like the silver crystal and the golden crystal or something like that. Minako seems to fall for it for a while. She gets a creepy smile on her face. But then Artemis runs up and scratches her on the face and tells her to snap out of it. Minako falls through a trap, or she falls off the edge of the tower, and somehow, and he shouldn't be able to do this, but one, Artemis is able to grab hold of Minako, and two, he's able to hold on to her with his paws. I mean, barely, I guess. She feels like she's gonna, like her arm's gonna get torn off, or she's gonna tear his arms off, or something like that. He's a cat. He weighs a lot less than her. How is he able to hold on to her? But anyway, then there's the thing where like a boulder crushes Artemis, and that's where I stopped the movie with nearly 10 minutes left, because that's where the chapter of the manga ended. So yeah, to be continued. I'm guessing whatever's left of the first movie is just gonna resolve that little cliffhanger, perhaps go a few pages into the next chapter of the manga. Yeah, so now apparently in the rest of volume 2 of the Super S manga, at least the version that I have from the early 2000s, the rest of that manga volume is taken up with 3 unrelated chapters called exam battles or something like that. And these are like side stories that have nothing to do with the main plot. And that takes up the rest of volume 2 of the manga. Now, the Super S story still, the rest of the Super S story is going to be covered in the second movie, the second Eternal movie, which I think from what I've read or something, it's about the same length as the first movie, I think. I'll have to look. Yeah, I think they're both around 80, 81 minutes long. So I'm guessing there's going to be more side stories in volume 3 or volume 4 of the Super S manga. Because otherwise, that would be an awful lot of story to cover in like only whatever's left of this film plus the second film. Um, I haven't looked ahead in the manga to see what it's like, but yeah. Um, I can kind of see why they chose to do Super S as a pair of films because there's not enough material in each individual uh, chapter of the manga to even fill an entire episode. Um, yeah, so each episode would have had to be padded, I guess. Um, so yeah, I see why they did this as movies. Um, but yeah, so that's about it. Not much to say about this episode. Oh, one more thing. For some reason, in the manga and also in the movie, um, Artemis and also Mina herself keep referring to Mina or Minako as the leader of the team. Did I miss something or did I forget something? Because isn't Usagi the leader? She's Sailor Moon. But here it's presented as fact that Minako is the leader. I don't get it. Um, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get through the rest of the Super S story first, but then I'm going to look at the exam battle chapters and any other extras. And if it had already been adapted during the original 90s anime, um, if it's like a story that's unique only to the manga, I'll read the manga chapter and or multiple chapters or whatever, and do a review on that story. Um, Kind of makes me wonder if the current anime series is actually going to animate these chapters, like the exam battles and stuff like that. Or are they just going to stick to the main storyline? Anyway, uh, not much else to say. It's 9:01 p.m. and that's it. Thanks for watching.